This is the War Room with PMAC, presented by Chiefs Focus. On this show, PMAC and you provide you front office insight into crafting a championship caliber team for the Chiefs. They are identifying the right pieces to possibly meld together to lead to success this upcoming season.
What it do? This is the War Room with P. Mac, presented by Chiefs Focus. Shout out. I am your host. You, that's the letter, not the word. And over there, that's the G. Philip, what's going on? P. Mac, the
yes,
Mac.
Sir. The Mac, the return of the Mac. Yeah. I'm here. Yes, sir.
Look,
I'm
man,
good to be here. Go ahead.
I'm very happy that we are here, and I know it's been a while since we talked to some football. It's been a situation for everyone. The last game of the season was a rough one. So
It was.
We took our time coming out with this because it requires a little tact. And so, what's going on with you, my man?
Oh man, been busy since then, man. But let me just tell you like this: since that loss in the Super Bowl, bro, I've been really working to get my thoughts on what we really need together. Especially, we could have this episode the week after, but had personal stuff going on. Guys, I want to personally apologize. When I had my promo on TikTok and all over Instagram, we didn't make the episode. Had personal reasons. Really fell asleep because work hard. Not only doing what I do at Chiefs Focus, but also what I do at the Self Advocate Coalition in Kansas, and to my people out at SAC. Shout out to you guys if you're watching this episode tonight. And also, while I'm talking, I'm also putting the tweet out here that we're on live right now, so we get more people here, man. So we probably gonna be here for 45 minutes to at least an hour. So just bear with us, guys, here, and we need to get back to the promised land. And yeah, man, it was just a lot of stuff, doing a lot of scattering reports and trying to see what we really need to get back, because we all know left tackle was one of those positions, and we'll get into it into this show. And that just leads me to say to everybody, as I'm finishing this Facebook post, welcome and what's up, Chiefs Kingdom. I want to welcome everybody to another episode 26 of season 2 of the War Room with P. Mac, presented by Chiefs Focus. I'm glad to be joined by my co-host, producer, my guy, Thiz, the letter, not the word, you, man. You know what I'm saying? Man, 19 days ago, almost 3 weeks ago, it didn't happen as we hoped for. The Chiefs had an opportunity to make history as the first team to achieve a three-peat, but the Philadelphia Eagles had other plans as they defeated us 40-22 in Super Bowl 59. And I got to say, I must give full credit to Nick Sirianni, Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley, and General Manager Howie Roseman of the Eagles for a stellar season and building a team that genuinely challenged us. And they proved it on the biggest stage in all of football, and even in the world, man. However, this doesn't mean this is the end of a dynasty. Remember, Tom Brady lost 3 Super Bowls and won 7. And in this show, we'll kick things off with That's News to Me, my final 3 standouts from Super Bowl 59, and how those guys can, play into 2025 in the 3 positions other than left tackle, as we all know, as I mentioned just, seconds ago. What we need to focus on in the offseason, either through the draft or free agency, as the combine is currently happening right now. So let's get started, Thiz.
Let's get started with That's News to Me.
That's news to me. That's news to me.
That's news to me.
As you guys know, we lost to the Eagles, man. We'll just cut into the chase. We lost 40-22 in Super Bowl 59.
We lost bad.
Bad, man. And I'm going to tell you this, man. You know what we should have done? We should have begin the episode in like a WWE promo where it was like how you said this Super Bowl could be like the Super Bowl in 10, but that's what you said on the last episode on the War Room, episode 25. Everybody go back and I got to give you the credit because it looked just like that, but much worse. The Eagles started strong, scoring 34 unanswered points. Although the Chiefs scored late in the third quarter, the gap was vast too close. Mahomes finished with 21 completions of 32 attempts for 257 yards, 3 touchdowns. However, 2 crucial interceptions in the second quarter proved detrimental. The Eagles capitalized on both turnovers, extending their 10-point lead to a commanding 24-point margin in just 7 minutes. From that moment, the Chiefs struggled to recover. As time expired in regulation, their quest for a third consecutive Super Bowl title ended painfully. Wide receiver Xavier Worthy made 8 receptions, $157 for 2 touchdowns. It was a silver lining for the Chiefs. His performance was key in helping Kansas City score 3 times in the second half, but it wasn't sufficient as the Eagles maintained their lead throughout the entire game. Now the Chiefs head into the offseason hoping to return to this prestigious stage next season. My guy, what do you got to say about what happened?
I actually forgot that I said all that stuff. You know, I actually forgot that I said any of that. I mean,
You saw the future.
I hate being right. And I'm not gonna lie. You know, for a long time I wouldn't have said those things. Like, this is not my first year podcasting, but you know, had it been 5 years ago, I probably wouldn't have said those things. But the closer I got to the game, the more I realized that this is not the 49ers. This is the Eagles. They got a chip on their shoulder, and I don't know what it is, why the 49ers can't do what the Bucs did, why the 49ers can't do what the Eagles did. But look, man, everybody wants the best of the Chiefs. Everybody wants to whoop the Chiefs. And that's
what I've been saying
that's what
all
Nick,
the last 2 years. Yeah. And that's
but
what
this
Sirianni.
this was their payback, bro. This was their payback from
2 seasons ago.
From yeah, man. This was from that. And Nick Sirianni grew up in the last 2 years. He got mature. No matter what. I mean, I think he is a petulant child. I do think he's a petulant child. But in this game, I believe that he grew up and realized he can't let his emotions get the best of him. And I think that has something to do with them relinquishing a little bit of power that he has. Like, he wasn't taking back play calling duties and all that stuff. And if you notice, like I told you, I think I mentioned this in the last episode.
Mm-hmm.
They got guys that have beef with us. They had guys that had beef with us, legitimate beef. Their defensive coordinator, what's his face? Used to be coach of the head coach of the Denver Broncos. Never beat the Chiefs. When he was with Miami, didn't beat the Chiefs. Defensive coordinator, former head coach of the Denver Broncos. Can't even think of his name.
I can't even think of his name either, man. The name is just escaping. Yeah, but yeah, man, it was just tough, man. I mean, I could tell that Mahomes was not pleased with our performance, including his own. However, you can't achieve success when you position your all-pro left guard, who is the best left guard in the NFL, Joe Thuney, in one of the most crucial positions, not just on the offensive line, but in football in general, the left tackle position. Brady even mentioned it during the broadcast during the game, bro. Just like Tony Romo pointed it out during the AFC Championship game years ago with Bob Sutton, before Brady himself exploited them when he was playing that game against us. This particularly was concerning, bro, especially when you signed a well-known Pro Bowl left tackle in DJ Humphries. This marks like the second season in which Brett Veach, has not only placed Mahomes in this situation as he did in Super Bowl 55 with the Bucs, but it has also. But this is where you sign well-known guys like a Kyle Long. But with Kyle Long, he had the injury, and that's why he couldn't see the field. But you bring in a guy like DJ Humphries, and maybe he wasn't ready to go. We got a little glimpse in that game where he started, where he looked good, way better than all the other left tackles we've had to that point until we decided to go with Joe Thuney. I understand with Joe because of his experience playing left tackle in North Carolina State, but there's a reason why Belichick kept him at left guard specifically, and Tom mentioned that on the show. And this all falls on Brett for trying to go cheap at left tackle. And I love Brett Veach with all my heart when I'm saying this, but hey, man, we all got to be held accountable. I got to be held accountable, especially when I'm wrong in certain things. I mean, this is for not for understanding you can't go cheap on the left tackle. And as people are going to go for him 4-2 for overspending on Jawan Taylor. And the Chiefs are undeniably one of the greatest teams ever. And Mahomes is among the top quarterbacks of all time. However, this moment will be a significant mark against us. And similar to how Tom Brady's legacy includes, that Super Bowl 42 loss where they just scored 14 points and missed a perfect undefeated season. Naturally, many will argue that the Chiefs' future remains extraordinarily promising, and Mahomes is just 29. He turns 30 this September, 5 days before I turned 34 in September. Mahomes has plenty of careers ahead. Coach Reed and Brett Veach, both highly regarded in their roles, bro. They're secure for several years, as in specs. Yet not every member of this team is guaranteed a chance to return in this pursuit for that, fourth straight Super Bowl appearance.
This one hurts. I ain't gonna lie to you.
It did, but I wasn't really mad.
I was glad that they didn't go out like suckers. Now I would tell you that because that Super Bowl against Tom Brady, we went out like suckers, straight up suckers. And they played the snap. They played the heck out of us, like mentally, physically. They played us.
They out-recruited us over the last 2 years. After that Super Bowl loss, they went straight to the Georgia players. And shout out to my guy at SAC, Jason Barrett, for over those last 2 years. He's a diehard Georgia fan, and he's one of those guys I want to bring on the show before the draft because he can give us some insight on some of those Georgia guys and why the Chiefs should go after them because he kept on mentioning those guys.
I don't know if
Nolan
it's the
Smith.
same. I don't know if it's gonna be the same guys, bro. They're not building them like they were. They're not building them like the Eagles.
Let's just say not just Georgia, but let's just say the teams who have been in the national championship.
I'm just letting you know. They
ain't
over
building
the last
2 years. I feel you.
They ain't building them like Jordan, what's his face? I keep wanting to say Jordan Hicks, but they ain't building them like that defensive tackle. They ain't doing
Davis.
that no more.
And
Jordan
Jalen
Davis.
Carter.
Jordan Davis. They don't build them like that no more.
Dontari Poe in 2025. Ndamukong Suh you have on the Eagles, and you got to give it up. That's why I give Harry Roseman credit because guess what? Those players that we're mentioning were players that the Chiefs also visited to. But
Nolan Smith should have been on this team.
He would have been on Micah Parsons, bro, without having hey, let's go trade for Micah.
When he fell in the draft, I was like, go get him. I literally was so upset when they couldn't. Like, he kept falling.
Bro.
I'm trying to think. Who did we get in that draft?
I
think we got
FAU.
Yeah. And I was, you know how I feel about FAU. Like, I don't hate him, but yeah. But we keep it moving, man. What's our next topic?
All right, man. Then I'm going to speak on this because, man, right after the Super Bowl, there's some information that came out, and also what I got information from our insider. It adds a whole nother layer about part of one of the reasons why I'm glad that it came out because this speaks to the term accountability. Like, all of us need to be held accountable, and it speaks with just aspect of coaching within our unit. And who do you want me to start with first? The offensive line coach or one of the guys who admitted something that I know we both, and you mentioned his name too around that time before the Super Bowl, how much we didn't like him, but no. Okay, I'll just go with it. An ESPN article, let's just roll with it. An ESPN article came out 2 weeks ago indicating that many NFL coaches would hesitate to work with Kansas City Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes, a generational talent recognized for his dedication. Chiefs passing game coordinator Joy Bleymaier felt a heavy burden in coaching him, stating, "It's more stressful. You feel the pressure of creating a game plan without wasting your abilities. We can't afford to fail him or the team. Instead of excitement, it's like terror." He admits that he lacked that confidence. I don't know. Maybe those words got taken out of proportion as saying that that's what he lacked, but maybe they took it the wrong way. But that's not a good look when you say certain things like that. That's why you got to be very careful. And they always taught us as former athletes, myself, you do not say certain things with the media. No comment, whatever, but try your best to be positive, even if they're asking annoying questions. So some people might highlight these comments about the Chiefs' offensive regression over the last 2 years with the diminishing deep passing game. Mahomes struggles with the timing, and the inconsistent run game further puts the more pressure on like Bleymaier to try to come up with something big. And the offense relies too heavily on Mahomes' ability to create plays, leading to those turnovers and like that blowout loss to the Eagles. And Big Red, known for his loyalty, should consider new ideas, within the offensive staff, new concepts, or, if you want to, go with somebody else. And the other part of the article mentioned, which I was also privy to some more information about that yesterday, but we could talk about it on another part of the episode. But the article noted that offensive line performed well until key games against stronger opponents. Joe, as we mentioned, the best left guard in the NFL, shifting to left tackle. Complicated matters. It complicated matters with offensive line coach Andy Heck saying that, bro, you're sacrificing the strength of our interior and moving the best left guard to the most important position of football, which I have been talking about over these last 3 weeks. Like, he's going against the best edge rushers in the NFL. And the other aspect nobody talked about is he doesn't have the reach and the length. If he had the reach and length, let's say 34-inch arms or 35-inch arms, we're okay. But watching Joe go through that pressure kind of was like you better watch out, Pete. That could foreshadow what could happen. And, Big Red's in-season situations led them to the Super Bowl. We got to give them credit for that. But that defensive line, the Eagles proved this wasn't sustainable. Mahomes endured 6 sacks, 2 picks, and a fumble without facing a blitz from the Eagles.
So with the Bleymaier thing, Bleymaier feels pressure. I get it. Ain't nothing wrong with it. But here's the thing. You never admit it. Don't admit it.
Exactly. Boy, say it again, man. Say it again.
Everybody's scared at some point. But you don't admit that, especially in the face of defeat. Here's the thing. Scared money don't make money. Scared money don't make money. That's something I've heard a long time ago. You can't be afraid to spend money. You can't even be afraid to go broke. Exactly. Because some of the richest people have been broke before. Some of the richest people have lost everything. You could get it back.
The pursuit of happiness.
This is the last game of the season, and you over here scared to call plays because you don't want to fail. And that's fine. I get it. It's a trepidation that everybody goes through. And yes, Patrick Mahomes is definitely that guy. But you can't be scared to call plays. You just can't. That's your job, really, if we're going to be real about it. That's your job. So the Bleymaier situation is, I'm not a fan of Bleymaier. Never have been. I did. Because Bleymaier is the pass game coordinator. I'm gonna tell you, I'm not a fan of a couple of people on this coaching staff. It just don't sit well with me. I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna give you a couple of them. I thought Nagy was gonna be good when his return to the Chiefs, but no, it hasn't been what I envisioned. Especially considering seeing how he worked with Trubisky in Chicago. Seeing how he worked with Trubisky in Chicago. I'm sorry, my kid's turning down here.
It's all good, man.
But seeing how he worked with Trubisky in Chicago, I thought the game plan would be a lot better, and it wasn't. And it really upset me that. So Nagy needs to be held to the fire. Bleymaier, I just don't think. I think they developed. The wide receiver room was left a little bit to be desired this year. Even though we was winning, and they developed a young player, and we had our other young receiver go out with injury. I get it. We won in the face of adversity, but we could see how that wasn't going to be. And that's one of the things. The closer we got to the Super Bowl, the more I realized, man, this isn't adequate. And how Andy Reid didn't see that, I don't know how Andy, Mister, he was a lineman at BYU. I don't know how he thought putting Joe Tooney out there was going to be the best deal, and I wasn't happy about that. It just felt like this should have been seen by one pair of eyes in that building. Now I don't know how it wasn't. And so to me, what that means is you got to figure it out. And we'll talk about this later.
Absolutely.
We'll talk about that. We'll talk about this later. But with them putting Trey on the franchise tag, and we got to do. I mean, they have to do something. They got to figure this out because the cap is not our friend this year. It hasn't been for the last couple of years. So we got to figure some things out. But I was thoroughly not happy with this coaching staff, and I shout out to Spags because he was one of the bright spots in this abysmal situation. Like, I do think that the defense did what they could to keep us in that game. They did everything that they could to keep us in that game. If you noticed, Chris Jones dang near fell out once what's his name? DeAndre Hopkins dropped that pass.
Bro, my gosh, man. I'm still pissed off about that.
Chris Jones fell out of his seat like, and it's like, I don't know what the Eagles did to literally take a pin and deflate the Chiefs, but they did it from the first snap of the game.
They just recruited better and they had the game plan.
No. It was more than that. It was more than that. They demoralized them from the very first snap. I don't know what that was.
As recruiting and having a better game plan. We can't.
No. I don't think it. I think it's more than that. I feel like once they got that first pressure off of that, once the first drive was over,
right?
It was more than just game planning. Because it was more than just game planning and personnel. Because
they were
the
stronger,
49ers,
they were faster. They were
stronger, faster.
I'll just say it like this: they were basically like the Dallas Carter team in Friday Night Lights against our offensive line. They made us look like the. You gotta watch that part. You gotta watch that movie. You gotta watch the last part in Friday Night Lights. The last part. It's the team of the movie, Odessa Permian versus Dallas Carter, the all-black team. They look like the D lineman in the movie played just like the Eagles D line against Mahomes, knocking him down every single time. Mike Winchell was the quarterback who was getting knocked down every single time. Like every time, like even say, let's say the running back in the movie was running the football. Even though Saquon didn't run on the ball like us, I can imagine he would still do it. One of our guys grab him on the back or something, trying to take him down, and he'd be like, "Yeah, foot round, big boy." And anybody watch that movie would get that reference, but. That's how we played, man. It's just that
we played soft.
Better game. Play soft. That's all up simple. We played soft.
And it's crazy. But it's crazy to me how the Bucs were able to do that. The Bucs were able to get off on us like that, and the Eagles. The 49ers had the team to do that to us, but yet they couldn't do it. What happened? Like, what was the difference? The 49ers had a bully team that could get us if they, in theory. They did not.
If Rasheed Rice doesn't get hurt, we probably would have a better chance of winning this game.
I agree, definitely. But if and buts were candy and nuts, then every day will be Christmas.
Just thinking about it, he would have had a higher volume than D-Hop. Man, he would have caught the ball better than how D-Hop.
We wouldn't even need D-Hop because I feel like D-Hop was kind of irrelevant this season. I ain't gonna lie to you. I feel that was a draft pick we could have kept, to be fair with you. I'm not hating on him, but D-Hop should have been here when he left the Cardinals. To be real.
Yes.
That's where he would have served his best purpose with the Chiefs.
Yes.
This D-Hop needs to go ahead and retire. Sorry. Just saying.
Yeah. Anyway,
I'm sorry, and I hate to say it, but it is what it is.
Yeah. But anyway, let's move along. The last part of that's news to me. We all know that Brett Veach faces 28 personnel decisions before the new calendar year starts on March 12th. And we'll get into more news about two players, that are very important to the offense going forward. This includes those guys like the 20 unrestricted free agents, the 5 restricted, 3 exclusive rights free agents, and the key guys like Trey Smith, Justin Reed, Nick Bolton, Charles Omenihu, receivers Justin Watson, McCole Hardman, Hollywood Brown, and D-Hop. While all players are candidates for return, Brett Veach has made it clear that he's prioritizing Trey Smith. And we already got news yesterday that the Chiefs are placing the tag on Trey. Translation, they're going to wait until July 15th to get him a new deal, which works well. And I also think that there's going to be other moves as a result of this move as well to keep Mahomes and the offensive line together, and then go after and find the Trey Smith of left tackles if you can in the draft. If you can,
you gotta figure that out. Gotta figure it out.
So yeah, you got that part in. Also to mention, Travis Kelce texted Pat McAfee yesterday and made it official. He's coming back in 2025. So there it is, people.
Now we gotta talk about all this. Travis Kelce ain't coming back for no reason. Like we're not. He wants another shot at the Super Bowl.
It's like what Charles Omenihu said. Not like this, man.
Not like this. So the kids. Here's the concept. Here's what I'm saying. Not many teams are able to jump back right in the Super Bowl and be in the Super Bowl after losing in the Super Bowl. Right. Case in point, the Chiefs of 2020. It took them 2 years to get back to the Super Bowl. Okay, the Bengals haven't been back since. The 49ers took them 3 years to get back to the Super Bowl after 2019. The Patriots. I'm trying to think of some more things, but you got to realize, like, it's abnormal to think that the Chiefs will be back to the Super Bowl, and they played the most football of anybody in the last 7 years. Absolutely. Okay, of anybody in the present and in the past. We're gonna have to inject some talent into this youth. We're gonna have to inject some youth into this roster. Like, seriously.
Absolutely.
So I said all that to say, Brett Veach has a lot going on. He's got to figure a lot of things out because the cap is going up, by the by. Mm-hmm. But it's going up, but it's not going up enough of a margin where we're going to be able to keep all these guys. So we got some tough decisions ahead. Trey Smith is already one that's being kept. Travis Kelce is being kept on his same deal. They're not reworking anything, and Brett Veach made that clear at the combine. He's staying on his deal, and so it's going to be very interesting to see what plays out moving forward. Because Absolutely. Trey getting 20 a year.
Probably, yeah. Like the tag is 25 million, the tag, but he's probably gonna get 20 million a year.
Yeah, 20 million a year.
The same money as Juwan, but he's more worth it than what Juwan is making now.
Let's say value. 20 million a year for 4 years. 30 million with, let's say,
similar to what I posted 10 days ago and had fans getting on me.
I was about to say, I think you did. I think you said 80 million a year, 50 million guaranteed.
The same number.
I think that's what you said.
40 million guaranteed. That's exactly, man.
That's exactly what I was trying to allude to. I was trying to make sure I give you credit because you the one came up with that.
Because it's like, they think they're GMs and like understanding the numbers, not understanding like you got to look at the salary cap for this coming year. Look at next year. Also look at is the number for next year where you can rework it. And everybody should know how the business works. I don't mean all that money is really guaranteed to them for like that. Like the 40 million is going to be guaranteed, but I'm talking about like the salary cap numbers because you're still going to get money from that, especially like, for example, Joe Tooney is going to make $15 million in base salary this year. In another way you could also help that out is take that salary, turn it into a $1 million base salary, convert it to the signing bonus so it extends it for next year because he's currently on the final year of his deal from 2021 he signed. So that's part of the reason why you got to make those moves. Part of keeping the band together as long as you can because, Joe Tooney ain't got that much time either.
No, he doesn't. So you got to find his replacement too. Like the more you can get ahead of this, and find guys to replace guys, because Joe Tooney's got the end of this contract and it's over for him. It's just be like I'm being real with you. So you keep him, you keep Trey at right, you keep him at left. You already signed Humphrey.
Creed Humphrey.
Creed Humphrey. I almost called him Humphreys, but it's Humphrey.
Right.
He already signed his deal. So then Joe Tooney, you got your three guys. They're your interior, great. So now you got to figure out how to fix that offensive line. The tackles. Now, with that being said, Suamataia, you got to make a decision here. This is where you make your decision.
He's naturally a right tackle. I got to.
Do you keep him at right tackle, or do you go the Mekhi Becton route? That's an option.
That's an option.
Going
the
Mekhi Becton route. Here's what I'm saying. For those that don't know what the Mekhi Becton route is, Mekhi Becton was drafted in the first round to the New York Jets. What year was it? 2022?
2020.
2020.
With Burrow.
He was drafted and he had his injury issues with the Jets. Couldn't keep his back right. His back was very bad. And so when his rookie contract was up, they let him walk. The Eagles signed him to a 1-year deal. They moved him from left tackle to left guard. He worked out decent for them because that interior of their left, that interior offensive line, he didn't have to work out in space. He didn't have to be there. It was just he had numbers on the inside. So I'm of the idea. I know he's a natural right tackle. I get it. But I don't know if he needs to work in so much space. I think he needs to be inside with somebody on his left, somebody on his right. I just think he would feel more comfortable there against pro defenders. I don't know. I'm just saying.
I feel you, but I mean, I keep it as an option, but I would try to just put him in his natural position, just like what I said about Wanye Morris. Wanye is a natural right tackle.
Tackle, yes.
Like, you got to put those guys where they're more comfortable at, and that's how you make it work. We just got to find that guy who's a natural left tackle now. It's just as simple. These things
and
are
we
fixable.
will talk.
Yeah.
We will talk about some good tackles we can go after in the draft because we've been looking them up, and I'm looking forward to that. I
can't wait to talk about it. Yes, sir.
That's not in this episode. It will be in a future episode, but it's coming. It's coming.
Absolutely. Yeah. So
looking forward
with that
to
being
it.
said, yes, sir. With that being said, let's move on to the next segment. And here are my final 3 standouts from Super Bowl 59. Although the game didn't go our way, people, that doesn't mean the key players didn't stand out, and there is no I in team, but there is in losing. And that's what happened. But it is what it is, and it's over. However, these 3 players stood out to the extent that they could significantly impact the team in 2025 as we hope to return to the Super Bowl. And here are my 3 players who shine in the game's defeat. Xavier Worthy set a new Super Bowl record for rookie receivers with a $157 yards receiving, surpassing previous 109 yards held by Chris Matthews of the Seattle Seahawks. You know, the game where Russell Wilson threw the ball at the 1 yard line to Malcolm Butler when you had Marshawn Lynch, who was the best running back in the NFL, and I was rocking his shirt that game. But Russell decides to go, I'm Mr. Unlimited. Nah, you became Mr. Unlimited that night. But anyway, and he broke Torrey Holt's record as well. Both of those records held by those guys before Worthy did it. He made 8 catches to achieve those 157 yards and scored 2 touchdowns, including a stunning 50-yard pass in the fourth quarter that showcased his speed and Mahomes' remarkable arm strength. While the score didn't impact the game for Kansas City, it's a combination the teams look forward to seeing in the future.
I mean, it was late, but I enjoyed seeing it because we got blown out. They took the dog out of us in 2020, and I hated that. I at least enjoyed seeing the fight. Wasn't much of a fight. The game was pretty much over, but I was glad to see that they didn't just hang it up and just leave. They showed that they had a little dog in them. Maybe it may have been a Yorkie, may have been a Chihuahua, may have been a little wiener dog, but it was a little dog, and I was glad that they showed some kind of fight, and I was even more glad that it was the rookie Worthy that said we could still try to do something. You know what I mean? We could say at least
he did not give up. And he's in the laboratory already, bro. He's showing off that 40-inch vertical jump with that one-handed catch. I said, boy, and Rice. Oh my gosh.
That's all I'm looking forward to. Look, man, this is the revenge season. And I do chips. I do like Chiefs with chips on their shoulder. With the chip on the shoulder, this is the Chiefs that I like to see. I don't like the Chiefs that are working from a point of privilege. I want the guys.
Exactly. Or when people, or as people say, we're arrogant.
Yes, I want them to feel like we tried to. Here's the thing. This season, I felt like we were the villains, no doubt. But I felt like we didn't feel like we were the villains. If you understand what I'm saying, like if we had won those games more decidedly, I think we would have been properly villainized and we would have fed off of that. But this year, it didn't feel like we were the villains. It felt like people hated us, but they're always going to hate winners. So that's just how that goes.
Yeah.
But who's your next guy?
But no, I was gonna finish up before I go to my next guy. But just after that impressive, 50-yard bomb, Mahomes finally saw the offensive play he desired all year, bro. Although mentioned earlier, as we mentioned earlier, about Kelsey, as he mentioned after the game, he just looked out of it, bro. And that's why everybody was like, oh no, this is it. It's like some of me said he's gonna take at least a few weeks just to blow it off. Because this is probably the one that made him really wake up too. So I wouldn't be surprised if we get that, like I mentioned earlier before the season. I did say he was going to be 700, 800-yard receiver, and he was exactly that, and a Pro Bowler, and I think he was second team All-Pro. Maybe I'm wrong on that one, but he still made the Pro Bowl. But either we get that guy, which is still okay, or we might still see a guy who puts up a similar performance like Tony Gonzalez did at age 35 going on 36 before he left. And he helps guide these guys, especially when you got Noah Gray going off and everything. And, 2 days ago, Brett Veach announced that we plan on having him play this year. And as he told Pat McAfee, he has that desire and that fire to play, man. He's ready. And, Veach shared, we left at the end of the season because he was fired up. We left him knowing he'd be back, and we're excited to have him back. So, his final contract year begins on March 15th. He will receive $11.5 million roster bonus. However, he even mentioned it. He had no deadline on his decision anyway. And, meanwhile, the team has a promising receiver duo in Worthy and Rice, but they must seek a top route runner in this draft or in this free agency period. A shifty slot guy in this offseason, regardless of, Kelsey coming back, adding at least one more tight end is crucial, whether through free agency or the draft, especially looking at Jared Wiley and what he does coming back off injury based off of seeing what we saw from Noah Gray. So that's that.
Yep, definitely agree with you.
Yes, sir. So going to our next guy, number 2, Tershawn Wharton. Wharton was a key factor in preventing Eagles running back Saquon Barkley from having a big game. He also pressured Jalen Hurts multiple times during the Super Bowl. In short, Wharton was instrumental for the Chiefs defense and is coming off a breakout season. He could attract a significant contract this free agency period, but his performance in the Super Bowl highlights why he is a free agent the Chiefs cannot afford to lose. One of them. It remains uncertain whether Wharton is part of the Chiefs' long-term plans, but games like this one against the Eagles demonstrate that he deserves a long-term he deserves to be a long-term member of this defensive Sack Nation and continue to be a vital part of the pass rush here. And the defense was among the best in the NFL this past season, and the team wants to resemble a strong front as its defense will be crucial for the return back to the promised land.
I definitely.
All right, yeah, hold on now. This shit, try to get back on for a little. There he goes.
I don't know what happened, but Turk kept playing, man, and it's tough to play in those environments and try to make a difference, even though it feels like they kind of took the air out of the room. You're still able to still play to your best ability. So shout out to Turk for real.
Absolutely, man. I was wrong about him, man. I got to admit, on one of the first 2 episodes after the Super Bowl last season, I thought we shouldn't bring him back. I had to admit it. But it was like he showed me and a lot of people that down on him, and he just went off, man. And being second in sacks, he was amazing. But I got to admit,
what did you say?
He's talented, but he just didn't show that consistency that we saw this year. He finally showed it.
Yeah, now that you say that, I do remember you saying that on the show. You did.
Yeah, man. And I gotta give the man his flowers because he really showed out being second in sacks, even over Chris, and being like right there with Carl Loftus, man. That's one of the reasons why you got to bring some of these guys back, part of that rotation, and not only keeping these guys healthy, but having the best guys out there, especially on this roster. And that's why it's important to look at these guys in the draft. Some of these guys are going to be starting, but having guys that are coming off the bench like a starter, like similar to Minihue, is very important. And it kind of came down to like what Nate Taylor said on the show before, and I got to give him credit on this too, man. He actually said it might come down to either Nick Bolton or Charles Minihue.
And I already know who I'm picking. Sorry.
All right.
I would tell you who I'm picking, but you might not like the pick, so I'm gonna leave it alone.
No, go ahead.
No, I'm playing. No, not really. Not really. I was gonna say MIZ, but no, I would pick him. I would pick a Minihue.
I mean, it don't matter who it is, man. I mean, either one doesn't matter. I mean,
it doesn't. I mean, I think when you inject the youth movement in here, when you start, I think they'll draft a linebacker this season. I think they'll also draft a defensive lineman somewhere down the road, or pick one up off the street, like an undrafted free agent. I do believe that'll happen, and you got to just get younger. You know, some of these guys have been here a little while, and Nick Bolton always finds his way by the ball, but you never know. You never know.
Absolutely. So last but not least, my last standouts, but actually standouts, is this duo here. And they make me so excited about this entire defense and who we can add going forward to just this chessboard of this defense, man. And you got to go with the safety duo of Brian Cook and Jayden Hicks, bro. Of course, yes, they put 40 points on us, but when you watch the tape, you see that defense did their job. A big part of it was due to the excellent performance in the back end by free safety Brian Cook, who picked off Jalen Hurts in the first half, and strong safety Jayden Hicks, a.k.a. light-skinned Cam Chancellor, bro. I love that guy, bro. A beast, bro, who together they didn't allow a single catch in their area. As a matter of fact, Both of them together combined for a 0 passer rating combined, bro.
Stop all that noise.
Yeah.
0 passer rating with these two. We allowed a touchdown when that was against A.J. Brown. That was by Leo Chenal. But that dagger of a touchdown was allowed by Jalen Watson, but it's not against Watson because that was his only touchdown he's allowed in, like, if I'm not mistaken, since I think like the playoffs of last year, like 1,000 consecutive. Like 1,000 consecutive snaps without allowing the touchdown. And, you know, it's not easy to play cornerback in that position. And Watson, he still, you know, has my respect regardless. But, you know, that makes me excited and encouraging because even with the safety play, it should help the corners play better. And they will be vital to our secondary success in 2025, especially going back to the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. For sure.
Yeah.
I enjoyed seeing those two work together. I'm gonna tell you, what it confirmed to me is that we're good at the safety position. The Chiefs have a situation where they, instead of bringing in guys like they used to, the guys like what's the linebacker from the Cowboys that we picked up years ago? They're called
Anthony Hitchens.
Where you don't have to go pick up guys like that. Go pick up Hitchens unless he's like a Drew Tranquil, where the
rotational,
whereas it's rotational and the contract dictates that he's not going to break the bank. That's the only time. But when you got those two type of guys back there, then you can bring in a rotational piece that is not going to break the bank because that's how the Chiefs operate. And seeing those two come together at the biggest stage like that is exactly what you need. Now, like, here's the thing. There's been rumors about the Chiefs possibly bringing back Juan Thornhill. Not really a huge fan of that.
Not me neither. No.
However, let me point this caveat out.
Right.
I'd be with Hicks and who's the other one we mentioned? Hicks and Cook. I'd be willing to bring them back. I'm confident in that duo enough to say Thornhill's going to be a rotational piece. Yes, I'll take it. I'm fine. As long as the money is cool, I'm fine with bringing him back.
And you put Hicks in the dime backing role, let him roam all over the field, and let those guys in the backfield handle the business. You know, that's why I'm excited about Hicks next season, bro.
I am ready to see
He's already showing that veteran leadership heading into his second season. He was on the radio station a week after the Super Bowl. He said it stung. We lost the Super Bowl, but the team shouldn't have played that way. Take notes, D-Hop. See, that's a leader right there. Right there, that example is explaining why he will be a future leader in that defense alongside with McDuffie and as long as Chris is here, man. Those are type of players that you want to keep around for a long time because their mindset and that skill set they bring to the team and just saying like, hey, we shouldn't play like that, bro. With 3 picks and just 200 coverage snaps, he demonstrated the potential that he could have led the NFL in interceptions if he had took over Reed's spot. And Cook, whom I've been saying is our single high guy, proved me right in that game, making me excited for him going into 2025, man. And it's a contract year, especially after finishing with a passer rating, an 82.8 passer rating. That's below 87, which is impressive for a free safety. That's Earl Thomas territory.
Cook really I worried about him coming off that injury. But he once he realized his body could go through what it needed to go through, he just took off running. I love it.
Absolutely. All right. And as we move on, this is the final segment of the night. Everybody's going to be everybody's favorite segment during this offseason. And it's positions, and we're going to get into like what everybody wants to talk about as the combine is going on. 3 positions of need besides left tackle. You know, the season in achieving that 3-peat, what should we do to return? Given that it won't be easy, it's back to the drawing board. Just like if you ever seen that Wile E. Coyote cartoon with Bugs Bunny when he starts talking, Wile E. Coyote, super genius. And every time he always makes himself look dumb and he gets blown up. It was like that famous one where he got blown up in the face and he's all black in the face going, oh, well, back to the drawing board. As soon as the Super Bowl ended, that was the image that popped in my autistic head. A man with autism, you know, I'm a visual learner. I have visuals of like scenes from movies or something like that just instantly pop in my head. And that's where the term of this came from. Well, back to the drawing board. The left tackle is the key position Veach must address this offseason without cutting corners. Josh Connerly has 2 seasons of experience at Oregon with a 0.6% knockdown rate over 1,000 pass blocking snaps. He resembles Jason Peters, Andy Reid's favorite left tackle, who was known for his speed, awareness, and strong punch and pass protection qualities Connerly embodies. There's Ohio State's Josh Simmons, who could be picked before the Chiefs at number 31 if his medical's clear. His 88.4 Pro Football Focus pass blocking grade and 0 pressures on 148 snaps highlight this ability. Simmons can be potentially among the best NFL's top pass blocking left tackles when healthy, similar to Brandon Albert, former Chief offensive tackle. There's another guy, Simmons' teammate, Donovan Jackson. His late season play in place of Simmons indicates that he could be a long-term solution across multiple positions, probably given that chance at left tackle. He has longer arms than Joe Thuney. He plays the same position at Thuney, and he's excelled at left tackle since starting week 9 for the Ohio State Buckeyes. His length helps him reach defenders, and his footwork enables, inadequate pocket protection. He maintained a perfect record with no sacks and hits allowed in Ohio State's playoff games. And as a potential second-round steal, Jackson could grow into one of the NFL's best versatile offensive linemen, combining balance and rarity as a blocker, akin to Orlando Franklin, who played left tackle for Peyton Manning's historic 55 touchdown season for the Broncos. He also played left guard the next season for the Chargers, I believe. And then there are the other options and needs for the team to return to the Super Bowl and rebuild toward that potential three-peat. The first 3 needs are crucial, and probably on the next episodes, we'll be going through those other positions, having some people come on and explain that going forward before the draft. So here are the 3 positions, like I said, besides left tackle, that need attention this offseason. Let's start with the defensive line, an edge rusher, 3 technique defensive tackle, and a pure nose tackle. Chris Jones, the CEO of Sack Nation, leads the defensive line, bro. Although he didn't top the team in sacks, his field presence drew double teams, creating opportunities for George Karlaftis, 8.5 sacks. Wharton, 6.5 sacks. Charles Omenihu's return boosted the pass rush, transforming us from one of the worst sacking teams in the NFL at the season start to one of the best at the end. Mike Dana and Felix Anudike-Uzomah are solid contributors, but aren't as impactful as Frank Clark was. They're not Justin Houston or Tom Holly, not trying to say there's nothing against their game, which isn't how I want to compare them. But it emphasizes that the team should seriously consider drafting the player ready to step in and be that immediate, intimidating presence on the outside like Von Miller, the J.J. Watts, the Myles Garrett's, the T.J. Watts type of pass rushers. The Chiefs need to pursue a college player who constantly or nearly consistently puts up double-digit sacks to open up Sack Nation further. Additionally, Wharton, Omenihu, Dana, Derek Nottie. Mike Pennell, my bad. Excuse me, guys. Correction. Wharton, Omenihu, Big Mike Pennell, Derek Nottie are free agents. So the team needs to make strategic decisions as they are right now. And we'll talk about that and expand on the next episode further. And we need to do that as we're doing now with the draft period as the combine today, as it ends Monday. Mm-hmm. And we will get to that in the free agency period. It starts with, in my opinion, re-signing to Sean Wharton. And, in my opinion, bringing back a Omenihu and then drafting a future designated pass rusher. The team also considering to add another big interior player at least over 6'3", or at least over 285 pounds, which is the benchmark for, Spags, interior defensive lineman who can move like an edge rusher for that size. You know what I mean? There's a few of these guys I've seen earlier. If Omenihu doesn't return, or if he does, it would still be wise to find another cost-effective veteran or find that person in the draft to enhance the pass rush. Enter Matthew Judon, who struggled during his time in Atlanta, but has the potential that justified that third-round pick when the Falcons acquired him. He also has experience working under Joe Cullen in Baltimore from 2015 when he was drafted to 2018 when he left as a free agent. Georgia's Michael Williams would be an intriguing choice. One of those guys, he's got his measurements, need to look at his 40 time. Although he's still developing as a pass rusher, he's an explosive, high-ceiling player with an aggressive playing style that Spags would admire. Acquiring Ohio State standout Jack Sawyer will be an excellent addition to a pass rush unit to help out Chris Jones and George Karlaftis. Kyle Kennard from South Carolina is another name. The kid Prince from Ohio State. Not Ohio State. The kid from Prince from Ole Miss. Excuse me. Correction.
Mm-hmm.
The Chiefs will address this by using one or even two of their top 100 picks on a defensive tackle who possesses those tools to the two gap and to control the interior of the defensive front, as well as that defensive playmaker along the front, capable of disrupting the timing and rhythm of the passing game and getting sacks. This is crucial because we need capable depth pieces prepared for either starter in case of a minor injury.
Don't disagree on any of that. We will discuss exactly how we think it should go about it, but give me a couple names. Well, no. You gave me a couple names. So actually, we're good. I'm looking forward to talking about this draft and seeing who will be number one. And we've already talked about. I've already seen your draft boards, a few of them, and you've sent them my way, and I've been looking. And I'm not gonna dive into it until Monday or Tuesday after the combine completely
after
over.
The measurements are all completely done. I'm gonna be working too.
I'm gonna be loving it, and I'm looking forward to seeing what happens. But yeah, man, I'm interested, and so it sucks that we're now in this position and not talking about the 3P, but there's a reason it hadn't been done, and it would take something that hasn't been done for us to do what never was done before. So we didn't do it. We fell up short. We came up short. So now it's time for the revenge tour.
It's time for the revenge tour, and that's why this is also why this position, along with left tackle, is essential, bro. Sacks and quarterback pressures are highly coveted, making blindside pass rushers hot commodities on the open market. You saw Josh Sweat from the Eagles move all over that defensive line to the left or the right of our tackles, whether it was Joe Tooney on the left or Juwan on the right, was one reason the Eagles exerted constant pressure on Mahomes. We need more help on front like that. The Chiefs could use an edge rusher with some deep tackles to complement Chris Jones and Karlaftis. While the team is banking on DK Uzama taking a mini huge reps if he leaves in free agency, it won't be a long-term solution if he underperforms. Seeking players to pressure the passer will aid their transition to Spags defense, man. They need two interior defensive linemen who won't record many sack numbers, but will clog up the middle, allowing others to play one-on-one and draw double teams as required. They must also defend against multiple blockers at the point of attack. One name that will capture your attention, he's already is, bro. Arriving, bro, as he dominated the Senior Bowl, he arrived 6'7", 340, but at the combine yesterday, he dropped 9 pounds, is at 331, 6'7", 331. Deion Walker from Kentucky. He immediately showcased his natural power, bro. He's built to dominate against the run. He also proved to be an effective pass rusher at Kentucky, generating 23 pressures and an 11 pass rush win rate. That's another name to look at. He kind of got 11-0 Joseph written all over him.
Like I said, I haven't really delved into it like I want to. I'm just going to wait because I'm kind of getting little information here, little information there, but I'm trying to wait. I'm holding my horses, boy. I'm looking forward to Monday, though.
Yes, sir. Monday is where we see what we really want to see, the offensive linemen, especially left tackles, baby. I'm definitely watching that day. Yeah. But anyway, this group went today, and there was some fast guys at this position, and that is a cornerback opposite Trent McDuffie, number 2. McDuffie has one of the most challenging assignments in the NFL, locking down the opposite team star receiver. There have been ups and downs, but McDuffie making the all-pro team for 2 consecutive seasons speaks volumes about how great and vital he is to the team. On the opposite side of 2-2, the Chiefs used Jalen Watson, Joshua Williams, and they used Najee Johnson to fill that number 2 cornerback by committee position. While this isn't a flawed approach, the teams exploited that part of our defense, and that's why I believe targeting a player just like McDuffie, who stands at least his same height or over his height, 6 feet tall at least, should be on the minds of Brett Veach and his staff, which is already on right now, especially a guy with great size, the length, the ball skills, excellent read and reaction skill abilities like Richard Sherman was. This draft class is deep with prospects this season. It won't matter which player they select, especially given the draft order, as long as they land the right guy. I recommend a guy like, Jahid Barron, from Texas, the 3rd highest graded cornerback in the FBS by Pro Football Focus, pairing him with McDuffie, who was he was a teammate with Worthy, and Worthy posted about him last week. And pairing him with McDuffie will provide a boost to the secondary that we need on that opposite McDuffie. There's another guy, and if I'm not mistaken, we're talking to him, Trey Amos from Ole Miss. He boasts a multiple sport background and impressive athleticism. His strong coverage instincts are evident with his 22% forced incompletion rate since 2021, which ranks him in the 98th percentile at his position. I compare him to Sauce Gardner. He ran a 4.46, and we'll expand more on that going forward because I'm going to come out with my Combine Warriors and everything like I did last year. There's also Notre Dame's Benjamin Morrison, who has the potential to be a first-round selection but could slide due to a hip injury that required surgery, which sidelined him for the latter half of the 2024 season, getting Notre Dame to the national championship against Ohio State. But as a solid man coverage corner, he would be a vital option for the Chiefs to challenge Watson and Williams for the cornerback 2 spot. And we need to look at other guys like my 2 guys from Hail to the our alma mater, hail to old KU, my boys Kobe freaking Bryant and Melo Dotson, a.k.a. KU's Kamir Lassiter or Jason Barrett, who played for TCU and played with the Chargers, or Melo Dotson. I give him my comparison. Aqib Talib, Florida. Areza Thomas. Thomas is a beast, another top man coverage corner like Morrison, or my steal and sleeper guy who is a thief like Marcus Peters was, Noah Williams from the California Golden Bears, bro. What's your thoughts about what I just said here about these guys? There's more corners.
Oh, yeah, but I do like Kobe Bryant. I can't deny. I do like Kobe Bryant.
I love his
and
energy,
the only
man.
reason, and to be real, the only reason I even checked him out was because of the name. Ain't gonna lie. Not
and he
really.
live up to the name too.
And he's been a beast, no doubt. I haven't really checked out a bunch of other ones, but I'm gonna tell you what I'm looking for, real quick, because we had an hour. I'm looking for somebody 6 feet. Try to be as long. Think Kool-Aid McKinstry. That's right. The type of guy I'm thinking about. Richard Sherman, Kool-Aid McKinstry,
Brandon Browner with that size he had. And
who's the kid? Who's the dude that got stiff armed by Derrick Henry?
Josh Norman.
Josh Norman style. A little bit long, not too tall, long arms.
Faster than Josh Norman, and you're straight.
Yes, absolutely. That's exactly what I'm looking for. Somebody with some catch-up speed that can hold down their side of the field, because we know our boy got his side of the field already down. So I want somebody that can bait a quarterback into throwing, but yet has the length to catch up and even take some of those balls away. That's what I want. So I haven't, like I said, there's some names that's coming up, but I'm gonna wait until after the combine.
Absolutely. And here we go, man. And as you mentioned here, man, you know, the offensive coordinators often avoid the opponent's top corner, leading to more throws to the defensive right, man. You know what I mean? And McDuffie holds the majority of the right side, and he's been dominating on the left side. However, he is also improving as a ball hawk, as you saw. But another player, Watson's size and Williams' size, must play opposite of him, especially who is a technician like McDuffie, man. And also with the athleticism. When you get all that, we'll be good. So, yeah, man. Yeah, we're about to get done with this last part of the segment, our final position. We need a running back that will challenge Pacheco, and if Kareem Hunt returns for that number one running back job, bro, I want the Chiefs to re-sign Kareem for at least 1 or 2 years, start him at running back 1, while Pacheco has been suggested as running back 1 or 2. His performance post-leg injury shows that he lacks Hunt's vision, which is essential for an NFL running back. Pacheco's missed opportunities have led to the team to swift away from the run, like you saw in the Super Bowl. The Chiefs need a running back with vision, strength, and speed for short yardage and passing situations, and in the pass blocking as well. They should target a power back who excels in these roles. Veach should consider drafting a running back that fits this value to help maximize the Super Bowl chances, especially with Mahomes. Last season, I suggested Ray Davis in the late rounds. The Bills got him. And, you know, back then, I also talked about another favorite of mine back then years ago, James Cook. I think it's time to find our guy. You know, there's guys like Cam Scatterboo, White Beast Mode, KU's Devin Neal, another KU guy who is Shady McCoy with better ball security. Nothing against Shady, but, you know, he's that guy. Iowa's Caleb Johnson. UNC's Amarion Hampton, UFC's RJ Harvey, the Ohio State boys, Ohio State Jamal Charles, Travion Henderson, Quinshawn Junkins. There's also Georgia's Trevor Etienne, Travis Etienne's brother. Looking in the later rounds for other guys like Texas Tech's Taj Brooks or our guy that we're talking to right now, Oklahoma State's Ollie Gordon Jr., who could be 6th round DeMarco Murray. Still, this team must look between the 3rd and the last rounds to find a playmaker who can help not only just complement the running back by committee, but contribute to changing the landscape of this offense. That's what I got.
Definitely need to pick up a running back in this draft. Like, I think we should have done what last year.
Stop avoiding the run game, and because with the run game, we can balance everything out, and Mahomes wouldn't have to be counted on so much. Get multiple guys like that. I guarantee you this can help out Jawan Taylor too.
I think you should draft one and also pick up an undrafted free agent.
Absolutely.
That will be my plan personally. Because I feel like the undrafted free agent would be able to even still. I mean, no one wishes injury, but if it so happens, I think that undrafted free agent running back could make the roster this season if you pick the right one. So yeah, I definitely agree with you. Like I said, I think we should have did it last year, but you know, we're here now, and I think you're right completely about being able to take pressure off Mahomes. And it should, like you said, when you said taking pressure off Jawan Taylor, we need pressure off Jawan Taylor, bro. It just ain't that.
And getting more run and adding more aspects of the run could help out with him. I swear, all I did was go and say, what can help Jawan out? When was his best season? Not just the Jaguar tape, but just look at his college tape.
ETN.
His final year at Florida, they balanced out the offense with the run. We've done that before, even with the
and they did that with the Jags too.
In the Jags too, they had Travis Etienne, so we're going to have to find our version of that.
Hey man, it's gonna have to happen. Like it's just to be fair, we have relied on Mahomes a little too much.
Yeah,
and I think having going to 3 Super Bowls, yeah, that's gonna wear on you. And if we plan on being back, we got to find a way to take the pressure off that offensive line, off of Patrick Mahomes, and off the play calling. If Bleymaier going to be like this, you got to take it off the play calling too. Just throwing it out there. So anyway, that concludes our show for today. We went a little bit over, but I appreciate it. Looking forward to talking draft here in a little bit. But, I mean, that's all I got. Any closing remarks for us, P-Mac?
RELAX, Chiefs Kingdom. Relax. We will be back. Everybody calm down. Chill. Take a chill pill. Enjoy the combine. They're still hating us. We're still living rent-free in their heads. So just enjoy it. Like I said, we're the new Patriots. Tom Brady lost 3 Super Bowls, won 7. Okay? Just deal with it. We'll be okay.
We'll be all right.
All right.
And that's all I got. And so for P-Mac, for myself, for Chiefs Focus, we out. Deuces.
Yeah. Deuce.